Yes, guys, and welcome back to another Jake Talks Football YouTube video. And today I'll be discussing the transfer situation regarding Alexander Isak and my personal thoughts on the situation. As most of you will probably be aware, if you have been reading news in the football industry, that Alexander Isak last Thursday told Newcastle he wants to explore his options away from the club because he obviously wants to join Liverpool. And Liverpool, the previous week, expressed their desire prior to signing Hugo Ekitike that they'd be willing to spend a British record fee for Alexander Isak. And obviously Newcastle and Newcastle fans thought, oh, we're going to go and sign Hugo Ekitike. Well, that turned out how it turned out. Obviously, almost as good as Manchester United did in last season's Premier League. Alexander Isak, I believe, will be a Liverpool player come the 3rd of September. Whether or not that deal gets done prior to Liverpool actually going to St James's Park on the Monday, the second week of the league, is another thing. But obviously, he wants to leave. Newcastle have been shut down by so many different players this transfer window, and they just obviously need replacements. I know they're interested in Benjamin Sesko, as are Manchester United, of course. But what's to say he's not going to say no to Newcastle as well? At the end of the day, Manchester United come calling over Newcastle prior to not having Champions League football like Newcastle actually do. But Manchester United and Newcastle, it's chalk and cheese, the difference between the two clubs. Globally, commercially, obviously the brand deals he'd get more at Manchester United as a personal player, but then again he wouldn't get the football he wants at Manchester United currently that he would get at Newcastle. Obviously better team, better manager, better style of play, but then can he be the number 9 to take Manchester United up to where they want to be? That's another question. In my honest thoughts, Manchester United will try and get a deal done with Aston Villa for Ollie Watkins, proven in the Premier League, can score goals for England at major tournaments, as was proved. I think Ollie Watkins could provide help towards Rasmus Højlund, who obviously has not had a good time in his first 2 seasons he's been there. 72 million, absolute waste of money in my opinion. Whether he actually wants to be second fiddle though to someone like Ollie Watkins, that's what we'll find out in the coming days and weeks, I suppose. But it's obvious that Manchester United do need a striker this window, as do they need a goalkeeper and someone in midfield that also needs actually some legs. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do in that regards. But as going back to the Alexander Isak situation, I do expect him to be a Liverpool player come the start of September, the end of the window. And I think we'll start hearing stuff in the next few days regarding that. I think, in my opinion, I think the deal behind the scenes is done. You just need Newcastle to get in these replacements, because it's not going to come out and say, oh, they've agreed a deal to sell to Liverpool when Newcastle have no striking options. They lost Callum Wilson at the end of the season. They're trying to sign Johan Wissa, who's also actually on strike at Brentford, refusing to train, refusing to play, because he wants to move to Newcastle. They've said, no, you've got to pay us the £50 million now, when originally they was only asking for 30. Is that because they know Alexander Isak also is on the move to Liverpool? Most likely they want to get as much money out of Newcastle as possible, as you would. Brentford have sold, obviously, Brian Mbeumo to Manchester United, lost their manager to Tottenham. They're not in a good spot at all, and it wouldn't surprise me if they was one of the 3 teams that went down this season. You see what Sunderland have been doing, signing Granit Xhaka, spent a load of money. They've actually got a really decent squad to stay up in the league this year, Sunderland. I actually believe they actually will stay up as well. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys, about the Alexander Isak situation, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll update you next time. Thank you.